the Attorney General is taking in recovering the said amount that he has settled on in this agreement with Unibank, taking into consideration how this case has evolved till now? Mr. Gyampo.
Under President Mahama's reset agenda, you now have an Attorney General who is open, wants to come out in the public domain to address the press and to subject his activities to public scrutiny. I think it's something that is commendable. A days where AGs were not doing some of these things are gone. And so for me, to the extent that there is information being put out there to give all of us something to chew on and for us to scrutinize is something that is a feather in the cap of President Mahama's reset agenda, and it's important that we put this out there in the public domain so that it becomes a certain standard. Duty bearers must be accountable. Duty bearers are not tin gods or tin goddesses who must always be in their offices and pretend that they know it all and that they are not accountable to the public. Now, my whole view about this is to make the point again, I think it's been made, but quite forcefully, that the whole idea of the banking sector cleanup was predicated on somebody's vendetta. Now, if you conduct vindictive politics, it would always be quid nolle prosequas when power changes hands. If politics is not based on substance, if it is about today, I am in power, I will teach you a lesson. I mean, the commonsensical thing that you can think about when power changes hands is that people would also resort to some of these things to counterbalance what you may have done. That is not to legitimize it. I will go on to my main. But I think for starters, we must get it clear. If you get to power and you want to collapse other people's banks so that you flourish yours, and you do that inefficiency, the idea of efficiency is to use little to achieve more. You have a problem, we are told the problem was about 9 billion, and then less than 10 billion, and you used 30.3 billion to solve that problem.
So
what is wrong with your head? And we are here talking. When you have used over 30 billion to attempt to address a 9 billion problem, and there are repercussions and all, we are bold enough to not. I mean, and this is the country in which we find ourselves. NATO country.
Insanity. That's what it is.
It is no action, talk only. NATO country. 30 billion. I mean, who does this?
Nobody.
Look, somebody had to be arrested for a crime that he had committed. He owed me. I asked that they go for the money. He was being asked, someone, the police called him. I said, it's not the duty of the police to be asking for people's debt. But when the police said they wanted to go and summon the person, there's some time, some time passed. They said, can you fuel our car? I said, no problem. Get this to fuel your car. They went. The person was not there. The following day, they went. The person had bolted. Finally, they got the person to the courts. And then they said, I needed a lawyer. The lawyer gave me a certain bill. I added the amount of money that I had paid to the police to fuel their vehicles, and then looked at the amount of money that I was going to be paying to my lawyer. I compared it to how much the person owed me. It didn't make sense to me. I said, later when I said that, he brought me back. So the idea of inefficiency, first of all, on the part of those who led the banking sector crisis, must be established So when we appreciate that we did what was wrong, if you appreciate it first, then you want to move on to analyze what is being done to address what was wrong, and you are able to puncture holes in what is being done to address what was wrong, then you are making a lot of sense, and you are also trying to bring other people on board. So because the problems of Ghana are such that we cannot offer a holistic solution to them if we don't build a lit consensus on how to address them. But in building a lit consensus on how to address them, first of all, if you were wrong, you must admit that, look, this thing we goofed. But going forward, once you say you goofed and you want to advise the one who is also advancing some solution to the wrongdoing, the person becomes sober in listening to you. Otherwise, then it doesn't, you even annoy. As you proffer solutions, you sound annoying because you use over 30 billion to address a problem that is less. I mean, are we? I don't know, but I want to be. But what is wrong with this? All right, let's move on to talk about this AG's intervention. I listened to the man, and the man is saying that if I go on the tangent that people are saying I have to go on, I may end up not secure any conviction, and I may not get anything. And so this is the route I want to go. If there is some monies that can be accrued to the state, let us recover. After all, the name is Operation Recover All Loot. The idea is to recover. It is not about you owe me, I prefer to jail you than recovering. In the ambulance case that the current finance minister was involved, we are told that the company said that because of their own name and reputation, they didn't want the matter to go. They wanted to pay off whatever was due the state, and we are told that this was objected. In the end, we didn't get the money. We didn't secure the finance minister's conviction too. And I asked myself, so did we go or did we come? And so my view is that it's a democracy. It is within our rights to make suggestions that, look, trying to secure some monies from this whole thing is good. But we think that more can be done. I mean, if you say this, and President John Mahama is a listening president, and I'm sure that they watch some of these things, some of these programs that are convened, and I'm sure that the Attorney General may also be listening to some of the sentiments that are being expressed. If you make the point that, look, we think that, and crime has no expiry date, I'm not sure that anybody would say that legitimately, if we believe that beyond the collection or recovering of what has been lost, there were other procedural issues, there were other acts that borders on criminality, and they must also be addressed, or we must also take those involved on. I don't think that if anybody makes this case, the person will be wrong. But my point is, before making this case, situate whatever your analysis is well, okay, so that we all understand that some people decided to go on the tangent of vindictive politics because using 30 billion to solve a problem. If you have 30 billion and the problem was 9 billion, why didn't you give them 10 billion and keep the rest for the state? We are not talking about that. And we are interested in recovery. Look, let us not fester, let us not create an impression. Nobody's creating an impression that there shouldn't be enough deterrence. I've heard arguments that is saying that, look, whatever is being recovered, is it going to be plus interest? Whatever is being recovered, have we factored the properties of those who are deemed to be culpable. Because some people are also saying that if you don't take care, if people feel that we can always embezzle or misapply or involve in some of these acts of criminality, and if push comes to shove, we will just be asked to pay, then it will fester the idea of let us do what is wrong. I believe that we should have deterrence, and I want to believe that we in a democracy we have every right to make some of these calls to the powers that be. That look, we should also emphasize the fact that we do not want a situation where you simply go and collect your money and then other things that are there that can be done wouldn't be done, and then in that case then it will fester. It will fester some of these practices. But the point must be made that for me, the name of the game is to recover all loot. And if somebody goes on that tangent, I'll commend the president, I'll commend the attorney general for the tangent that is chosen. But beyond that, if there are legitimate concerns that there are other things that would have to be done to ensure that there is adequate deterrence, I think it will not be out of place to make those recommendations. And I believe, like I've said, the president is watching, he's listening. And the attorney general is also minded by some of the public reactions and sentiments that come. And to the extent that the idea is to reset Ghana, I do not believe that if the points are being made and they are legitimate and they would all help, they will help in resetting Ghana, I don't think that they will close their ears are closed, to some of these recommendations. But like I said, the first thing that must be admitted is that someone caused the problem. You don't cause the problem and stand on the rooftop and begin to shout when somebody is trying to address the problem. You don't shout about the loopholes in the solutions that are being adduced without first admitting that you first brought us, where we are. And so I believe that it is Ghana we all have the right to make recommendations. We all have the right to make our input with the view to shaping public discourse and all that. Who is listening and who would listen, implement some of the proposals and recommendations we are making is critical. And in this case, it is President Mahama. In this case, it is the Attorney General. And I have every hope and belief that so long as what some are saying makes sense, they will not close their ears to it. If it makes sense and they want to do it, they want to do it to ensure that we don't perpetuate, we don't fester as a certain impression, because people are painting impression that if people are saying that if you don't take care, an impression will be created that look, you can do some of these things and go scot-free. If push comes to shove, you will just be asked to refund. If it is not good enough, we can say so. But let's say it's within the context, within the proper context, that we created a certain problem, and that problem must be addressed. And I agree with you, Dr. Mwakuba, that sometimes securing convictions and feeding the people, in prison wouldn't pay people's school fees. It's important that as a nation fighting hard the quagmires of poverty and underdevelopment, as a country wanting to reset itself, if there is every way, every means, every opportunity to recoup or to recover whatever has been lost to the state, we must go forcefully, to recover.
The concern is about how this path of recovery, which across the table, I don't think anybody has any issues with that. How that also impacts on the element of deterrence.
I've said it. No, I've said it earlier that the Attorney General, I'm sure, is listening. There's been some public sentiments that have been expressed. Let us juxtapose what the public sentiments are with what he has said. He's come out clearly to tell his side of the story. And I'm saying we should even be commending this government for producing such an Attorney General who wants to be transparent, who wants to come out to explain. And we are told that he's not bound to even explain, do what he's done. And so we should be commending them. And I'm saying again that if I'm sure they will be able to juxtapose the public sentiments that are being articulated with the defense or the justification given by the Attorney General. And once the side-by-side juxtaposition comparison is done, I am sure what I see with the John Mahama government now is that they truly want to reset. They want things to be done right. And the last time we went, like I said, on orientation for CEOs, it was made clear that acts of corruption and some of these things will not be countenanced. And we're also told that you should be listening. And so if the comments that are being passed are legitimate and they are properly articulated, and in comparison with the position that has been taken, they make sense, I am sure they'll be heeded too. But if they don't make sense, or if they will not help, I want to hope and believe that what is right for Ghana is what this government is doing.
Martin Bebo, if you can hear us, I want you to reposition so I get a clear connection to you.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
But I can hear you, but yes, the connection is a bit cranky. So if you could just reposition for me so that we'll have a clearer connection to you. Mr. Jackson, let me come to you on this while we rectify that connection to Martin Bebo.